Hello everyone, and welcome to what's gonna be my bee farm. We're out here today doing a little stuff, and I'm out here putting together my first beehive. This is it right here. I put it together yesterday. Decided I wanted to show y'all a little bit about it, and so I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna put it in the bee yard. I'm gonna tell y'all about the parts and pieces, everything that came in the box, and how it was putting it together, what kind of time it took. So let me carry it to the bee yard and I'll tell y'all all about it. So if you're anything like me, you're sitting there watching YouTube videos, looking this stuff up online on how to be a beekeeper. What's a beehive? What's a nuke box? What's a tin frame? What's a super? What's a hive box? You got all these questions, and you're just looking for somebody to go, please just tell me what I need to have a beehive. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's not that difficult. You got all this stuff swimming around in your head. Now, the whole beekeeping thing, there's a lot to learn. People talk about the amount of time it takes to learn how to be a beekeeper. I'm in the process of learning all that. When I learn it, I'll show you. If you want to learn something and show me, please do. But the BeeCastle Beehive, that's the beehive that I decided to buy. Now, why did I decide on a BeeCastle? First of all, it was cheap. Now, I'm a minimalist. I only buy exactly what I need. I don't try to buy extra stuff. And by minimalist, what I mean is I'm cheap and I don't like to spend money. So I went with BeeCastle because it was very inexpensive. It was a complete kit. They have different kits that you can buy. There's a 10 frame hive with a super. You can get 2 10 frames with super. The super, you can get 2, 3 supers, queen excluder, bottom board, all of it comes in one kit. Now I'm fixing to show you what all came in the box. But let me tell you something right now. I put this together yesterday, and it was actually a lot of work. It wasn't hard work. Once I got going on it, it was pretty easy, but it was very time consuming. If I had to venture a guess, I would say it probably took me hour and a half, 2 hours to get everything put together. Everything comes separate. They have nails, they have screws, they have the foundations, the frames, everything has to be assembled. So if you don't want to have to assemble it, BeeCastle is probably not the one for you. But if you're willing to put the time, put the energy into assembling some stuff, I think it's a great beehive. I don't know much about them. Like I said, it's the first one I've ever bought. But we'll see if it works. Everything is coated in beeswax. It's very pretty. It's a very good looking beehive. And I just kind of believe it's going to look good in a bee yard. So that was another point I had. Here's a little clip of me putting it together. Now, there's a bunch of pieces in this. I mean, you can see the amount of pieces I have laid out on this table. Now, the instructions, you can't, I tried the whole, to guy it up and man it up and just take the instructions and throw them over my shoulder and say, I got this. But you can see here, I had to go back and look at them. There's some pieces in here, they're dovetailed together. As you can see, there's some dovetails. They have to be lined up just right. Once you get going on it, it's not difficult. You got 2 different size frames. You got a 10-inch frame, 9-inch frame. You got to get all those separated. Now this way is all the same length, but this way is 2 different lengths. And once you get all that separated, everything's good. So finally my son had to come over, and he just started kind of putting stuff together, and I hammered nails. I put a little bit of glue in there. Now I put one nail at first, and I went back with, when I got them home, I took them back home last night, took my nail gun out and put some more nails in there to kind of sturdy it up a little bit better. But other than that, it wasn't bad. Like I said, it took me about an hour and a half. So it's a good looking beehive. So let me show you what we got. I'll show you everything that came in the box. I'm gonna pick them up. I got them all laid out over here, but I'm gonna pick them up one piece at a time so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what's called the bottom board. This is your bottom board. It goes on the very, very bottom of the beehive. Now, if you look this up on Amazon, which is where I found the beehive, was on Amazon. If you look it up on Amazon, there's a box to check for a mesh bottom. It comes with a solid bottom on it. That's just its default setting, is to come with a solid board bottom. Now I opted, when I finally realized that, I went back and bought a mesh bottom, because in my climate I think a mesh bottom is going to be better, because it's hot. I'm in North Louisiana. It gets hot in the summertime. We get temperatures over 100 degrees down here, and the bees are trying to keep the beehive cool, so you want to try to give them as much ventilation as they can. So here's the one I wound up getting. Now you can see this has got a mesh bottom. There's gonna be plenty of ventilation. It's basically the same thing, just doesn't have a solid board on the bottom. Mesh bottom, more air, so be good. Now, this is the entrance right here. They sell this. This comes with an entrance reducer, and the actual beehive kit comes with an entrance reducer. Now the beehive kit, I'm kind of disappointed, and this is the only part I'm disappointed in. This is the entrance reducer from the beehive kit. It doesn't fit in the entrance. If you know what I'm missing there, let me know in the comments, because I'm gonna have to trim it down. I don't know whether they just cut it wrong or what, but the one that came with this actual bottom, the mesh bottom, you can see it fits in there. So I don't know if they just messed up on the cut or what at Beehive, but this actually fits in the entrance down here. Now, what's the point of having this entrance reducer? So in the wintertime, this is from what I've seen and read about, in the wintertime you want to cut down on the amount of airflow they have, because you want them to be able to keep the beehive warm at that point, right? They're just in there huddled up trying to stay warm. They're going to winter in that hive. That's their home. So you want to kind of close them up a little bit. Now you can go small entrance like that, or you can turn it and go a bigger entrance like that. Now another reason for the entrance reducer is it gives them a little bit less entrance to keep predators out of. There's going to be wasps and other bugs and stuff trying to get in there, because they want that honey too, and plus they want to eat the bees. So you give them a little bit of less room. Sorry, it's a little windy out here today. I don't know if you're hearing the wind noise on here or not, but you give them a little bit of less entrance to have to defend. From what some people say, it makes for a little bit less hostile hive, because they don't have to make as many guard bees, because they got less entrance. This will get you about 100 guard beads. This will get you about 50 guard bees. So I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. I'll have to test it out and see. That's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, the one that come with the beehive kit didn't fit, so I'll just have to take it and trim one of the ends off to the length of this one, so it'll fit in that hive. All right, so next we have the hive box. So this is the hive box. It's 10 inches tall, and it comes with, this is a 10 frame. It's got 10 frames in it. That's why it's called a 10 frame. They have 8 frames. I think you can get 5 frames, 8 frames, 10 frames. I think 10 is the biggest I've ever seen. But this is a hive box. It holds 10 frames. This is where the bees are going to live. They're going to have their brood, their larvae, their honey, all kinds of stuff in this box. So this is where the business happens, is right in here. Now, this is a frame. Now, each one of these, as you saw from the video a while ago, hang on a second. As you saw from the video clip a while ago, each one of these came separately. This is foundation. It's wax coated, so the bees will draw comb out on that. And each one of these little frame pieces came separately. So you can see it was quite time consuming. And there's 10 of these, there's 20 of these total. So that's what took up most of the time, was these things. So you got your 10 frame hive box. Now on top of this, all this came included in the BeeCastle Beehive kit. Next you got your queen excluder. This was in there too. Now this goes between your hive box and your super. The because you want to keep the queen out of your super, because all you want up in the super is honey. So if you let the queen get up in the super, then you're going to wind up with brood and larvae and a whole mixture of stuff up in your super. And the super is mainly just for honey production. That's where you want to get your honey from. So you put this in between the hive box and the super, and that keeps the queen out of the super. Some people advocate against these because they're afraid it hurts the bees, because the queen is just so much bigger than the rest of the bees that she can't get through here. But they're afraid this hurts the bees. I've seen a lot of people use them, and I've seen some people not want them. Man, I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, I'm looking for honey and some productive bees on my property out here. All right, so next is the super. It's another 10 frame. This is a super. This is 9 inches. So you have the beehive, the hive body, and the super. This is where the queen excluder, and I'll put all this stuff together over here on my thing here in a minute. Let you see how it all goes together. So this is the super. You got frames, foundation, wax coated, just like in the hive body, and these had to go together. Just because it's smaller don't mean it went together any quicker. It was still just as much work. 4 joints on each one, and yeah, it was pretty time consuming. Anyway, all right, well, I'm gonna quit whining about how long it took me to do it and continue on showing you what's in here. So I'm tired of whining. Next, inner cover. This right here is not a handle. That's for ventilation. So when you open this up, bees will be coming in and out of here. And yeah, that's all there is to this. It just sits on top of the super. It's called an inner cover. Pretty simple. All this, look at, I don't know if you can see, all this is beeswax coated. Man, it is a pretty hive. We'll put it all together over here in a minute so y'all can see exactly how it looks. This is the outer cover. This is what this is. Bright, huh? Yeah, it's got a metal top on it. Helps them stay warm in the winter, reflects light in the summer, keep them cooler in there. This is a what they call a, I don't remember what they call it, but it overlaps the whole beehive and gives some room for air to come in and out through there. Telescoping top, that's what it is, telescoping top. So anyway, let's go over here and start setting it up, and I'll show you how all this goes together. Come on. All right, so all I did is I took some cinder blocks and made them sure they were nice and level. I'll tell you why later on, probably in another video, but they need to be level. So I like to take some garden timbers. I watched some other guys' stuff and saw how they did it, and this is what I came up with. So the way it lays out is you have your bottom board, and your entrance needs to be, of course, front of the hive, of course, and it just sits up there just like that. That's it. That's how you start. And I'm putting the mesh bottom on there because that's what I'm going to use out here in North Louisiana. When it gets hot, it's cold, it'd be perfect. So wait, let me get the other piece. All right, so this is your hive body. This is where the queen's going to live, and this is where she's going to do her work. On there nice and even. This is where she's going to lay her brood. This is where she's going to have larvae. She's going to lay her eggs. The bees are going to cover it up. There'll be some honey and stuff in here along with all that for them to eat on. And so this is where you want your queen to stay. Now, BeeCastle does have different kits. You can get them with two hive bodies, 3 supers. But I chose, just starting out, to do one hive and 1 super just to start out. Now eventually I want to have this maybe two hive bodies and 3 supers big. I don't know, a lot of people say that's too big for a hive, but we'll see. I think it's just a matter of what works for you in your area. And so, all right, next goes the queen excluder. All right, so the purpose of the queen excluder is to keep her down here. She's too big to come through these cracks in here, the little slots in here. Only the bees can get through there, the actual worker bees. So it just lays right here on the top, and then she is forced to stay down here in the hive body and work. Now that's the reason maybe eventually I want to go 2 hive bodies high, but then it'll be up this high and 3 supers, and each hive will produce more bees, but we'll get into all that later on. This is my first one. I'm fitting my mind here to try to start this and hopefully grow a little bee yard out here, and hopefully y'all will follow along with me. So maybe y'all ought to subscribe, like the video, so a lot of more people can see it. But anyway, yeah, come on, yeah, y'all come on this journey with me. I think we're gonna have some fun. So, all right, next goes what? Oh yeah, the super. That's right. Hang on. All right, so here we're at the super, and it just sits on top of the hive body with the queen excluder underneath it, just like so. And this is where all the honey's going to be, up here in the top. The queen cannot get up here. She cannot lay eggs. She cannot have larvae. They can't have brood up here. There can be nothing but honey up here in the top. As long as the queen stays down here, there can be none of that up here. So, all right, next, what do we got? The inner cover. That's right. All right, so here's the inner cover, and this just lays right on top. Now, if you ever want to put a feeder or anything like that on here, now I bought a entrance feeder. I don't have it with me, but when I get ready to start feeding the bees, I'll put it on there and I'll show y'all how it works and all that. It's called a Boardman entrance feeder, I believe, if you want to look that up. But this is it. Now, I'm going to link this down in the description. The link for this on Amazon. They have an actual store where you can buy other things from them too. It's pretty good place. Now this beehive. Wait, we're not done yet, are we? Let's put the top on it. Let me get the outer. What is it called? The telescoping top. That's right. Hang on. That's it. That's all there is to it. That is one complete beehive. Now we got bottom board, which is mesh. They do sell solid board. 10 frame hive body. Queen excluder. Super 10 frame. Inner cover. And a telescoping lid. That's all the parts to a beehive. If you're wondering, if you were sitting there going, man, just tell me what I need to have a beehive, this is it. Go to Amazon. Click on, look up BeeCastle Beehive, and you'll see them on there. I'll put a link to it down in the description. Now this complete setup right here with the solid bottom board. I think the mesh board would be a little bit more expensive, but with the solid bottom board, I think it cost about 160 bucks. Now I've seen some that are just outrageously priced from other bee supply places, and it might be a better quality, you know, and some of them are actually assembled for you, and some of them come painted, so it's up to you how much money you want to spend on it. But like I said, I'm a minimalist. In other words, I'm cheap and don't like to spend money, right? So this was my choice. I think it's a good looking hive, and I think it's going to work just fine. All right, now what do we need? Tools. I got to get some tools. Let me go see what I can find about tools, and I'll get back with y'all. Hey guys, gals, thanks for watching. Hope to see y'all on the next one. Please like, please subscribe, give me some love. Thanks guys. Peace.